So good afternoon to all of you. Still students are joining. Students join with your name, proper name, roll number, standard deviation. Okay. Let me ask some questions to you. Can you tell me what is light? Very good, Sanskar. Light is a form of electromagnetic radiation that produces a sensation. Right. Very good. Okay. You can say light is a form of energy. Right. Can you tell me what is mean by reflection of light? Who will tell me what is mean by reflection of light? Yes, Anjali Gupta, it is natural also. You are getting natural source of light from the sun, right? Sunlight is a natural source of energy. But what do you mean by reflection of light? Anybody can answer me? You have studied this concept in 8th standard. How many of you remembers? Yes. What do you mean by reflection of light? Change in direction of the light. Okay, fine, Manjima. Okay. When light hits an object, it gets deflected. I'm getting different answers from different students. Okay. So when light is incident on any surface of an object, what will happen? It gets deflected. How it gets deflected? Not only in particular one direction. It will get deflected in different directions. Okay. So this process is called as what? Reflection of light. Okay. Now there are two types of reflection. Can you name me two types of reflection, students? Regular and irregular. Again, Sanskar answered me. Very good. Two types of reflection is regular and irregular. Okay. Now, if reflection of light is from a smooth flat surface, what we call it as a regular reflection, right? Whereas if the surface is not smooth, it is rough surface. Okay. Then what we can say, it is a irregular reflection. Understood? So today let us begin this chapter, reflection of light. For that I will share my screen with you. I will show my PPT, students. Be ready. Okay. Science part 1, chapter number 11, reflection of light. In this chapter, you're going to learn about mirrors and types of mirrors. What are spherical mirrors? How the images are formed from these mirrors? Then what is meant by magnification due to spherical mirrors? What is meant by convergence and divergence of light? What is a mirror formula, etc. So many topics are there that we are going to cover today. Okay. So let us begin with first topic, that is mirror. Okay. Now students, first let us discuss what is a mirror. Okay. You know, you need a polished surface, right? Polished surface you have to take, it will reflect the light. And this polished surface will absorb very less light. And so maximum light gets reflected, right? So here what happens when the maximum light is reflected in scientific language, what we can say, surface which reflects light and creates images, clear image. What we call it as a mirror. So a mirror is a reflecting surface. What is mirror? It is reflecting surface. In short, what you can say, if anybody will ask you, what is mirror? It is a reflecting surface. Okay. And we have seen various types of mirrors in our daily life. Mainly we are using plane mirror and spherical mirror. These are the two types of mirror, right? Plane mirror is used in various activities. Like you can, in your house, you are having that plane mirror, right? Where you are dressing yourself looking at it. Mirror is made by what? Coating the back surface of a flat and smooth glass piece with a thin reflecting film of aluminum or silver. Okay, so to protect this reflecting film and to make that side opaque, another coat of a substance called lead oxide is given over it. So plain mirrors we all are having at our home, right? If you will check the back side of this mirror, you will find a coating. Okay, coating of which is very flat and smooth glass, please. Okay, and it is having a reflecting film of aluminum or silver, right? If you will check that it backside it is opaque, and another coating is also done, that is of lead oxide, right? So that is about a plain mirror, right? Next, we can see a clear image of ourselves, right? When we'll stand in front of a mirror in our house, what you can see, your own image you can see. You can dress your hair, you can do the makeup in front of it. Boys can comb their hair, right? So to understand how an image is formed in a mirror, let us first consider an image formed by a point source. Okay, point source means what? A source of light which comes from a small point, right? So light rays always travel in different directions. All directions it can travel. If a small hole is there, from that also it will enter, light can enter. So there are several rays coming from falling on a mirror, right? And it gets what? It gets reflected and it will reach our eyes. So due to reflection, you told me the definition of reflection. Okay, so due to reflection, what happens? They appear to be coming from a point behind the mirror. So that point is the image of the point source. Okay, so look at page number 116. A plain mirror is shown. Incident light falls on the mirror and the reflected light also comes from the point source, right? So figure 11.2 in your textbook. A, first figure. It shows what? Light rays are falling how? They're falling perpendicular on the mirror. Okay, and then it is reflected back in the perpendicular direction. The same direction it goes back. Whereas figure number 11.2b, look at that figure. It shows a point source O in front of the plane mirror M1, M2. Okay, incident rays are there. Look at the diagram, OR1 and OR2. That gets reflected according to the laws of reflection. How it gets reflected? In another path, that is R1 S1 and R2 S2. So when these reflected rays are again extended behind the mirror, what will happen? They will meet at a point called O1. Okay, so when you will see from E, okay, that means from your eyes, there is a point called E given in your book. Okay, when you will look from there, the rays appears how it is coming from O1. Actually, the rays are starting from O object, but we will feel that it is coming from O1. So other rays starting from O also gets reflected and appear to be coming from O1. So what we can say, O1 is nothing but the image of O. Okay, so when you will stand in front of the mirror, you can see your image. If your name is O, the O1 will be your image. Understood? So the reflected rays do not actually meet. So such an image is called as virtual image. What you can say about, name this image? Virtual image. Underline the word virtual image. Okay, so the perpendicular distance of the image from the mirror is equal to perpendicular distance of the source from the mirror. That means what? The distance is also equal. Understood? So suppose I'm showing you this figure, that is, you can see in my PPT, the image of an extended source formed by a mirror. A pencil PQ is taken and it is kept in front of a mirror M1, M2. Okay, so let us say if we use an extended source instead of a point source. Extended source means what? The light will be coming from all the directions. Okay, so an image is formed of every point of the surface of the source, thereby forming an extended image of the whole source. Okay, so as shown in the PPT, you can see an extended source is there. That is PQ is a pencil, which is an extended source, which is kept in front of the mirror M1, M2. Okay, let us take PQ as a pencil. And what you will find, the images of PQ are formed at P1, Q1. Okay, so similarly, images of all the points between P and Q are formed between P1 and Q1. There are many points between PQ, right? Between if how long the pencil you are taking, that many points will be there. From every point the light emits, okay, and resulting what, an image called P1, Q1. Okay, of the entire source, and that's why it is called extended source. So image formed by plane mirror is of the same size as of the source. Suppose if you are taking the pencil of 5 centimeter, the image will be also of 5 centimeter. Okay, that means what, the same size image you are getting. Image of a word, suppose if you are taking writing a word, writing the name. Okay, suppose you are writing SCIENCE, science. It will appear laterally inverted in the mirror. You just check now itself. Go to mirror and write science in one page and just show it in the mirror. What you will find, image of every point of the word is formed behind the mirror at the same distance from the mirror as the point itself. So what we call this as lateral inversion. Okay, you can write any word, you can write your name and check. What you will find, each alphabet is laterally inverted, right? And the distance is also same from the mirror as the point itself. Okay, so when a person is standing in front of any mirror, plane mirror, how the image is formed, what is the nature of the image, so it will be in this way, right? So now you can say, you can take this example. Okay, another example where you will place two plane mirrors at an angle of 90 degree to each other. And then place any small object, maybe your notebook or pen or pencil, whatever you want, you can keep in between it. What you will find there, images will be formed in both the mirrors, because we have kept how many mirrors now? Two mirrors, two plane mirrors are there, and both are at what? 90 degree to each other. That means what? They're perpendicular to each other. And now what you have to do? You have to keep on changing the angle. From 90 degree, you make it 120 degree. And check. And count the number of images each time. How is this image number related to the measure of the angle? So if you'll keep on changing the angle, from 90 degree, you change to 120 degree, then you change to 60 degree, then change to 45 degree, then 30 degree. And there's a formula given in your textbook. N equal to what? 360 divided by A minus 1. Okay. 360 divided by A. A for what? Angle between the mirrors. Okay. So now you have to substitute the value and check how much is now how many numbers of images you are getting. So if suppose you are taking 120, if you are dividing by 360, it will be how much? 3. 3 minus 1 equal to 2. So how many images you are getting at 120 degree? 2 images. Similarly at 90 degree, 360 divided by 90, you will get 4. 4 minus 1, 3 images you will get there. If you are taking 60 degree, 360 divided by 60, that is how much? 6. 6 minus 1, how many images? 5. Okay. Similarly, 45 degree and 30 degree. Like that, you can solve that. Okay. A box is given. If you can solve it yourself using that formula. That means what? From this, what you can say, if the mirrors are kept, so if the mirrors are kept in perpendicular direction, it will get a number of images, but it will keep on changing the angle between them. It will either increase or decrease. Yes, number of images will increase or decrease. If you are taking very less degree, that is 30 degree, so it will be how many images? 11 images. For 45 degree, it is 7 images. For 60 degree, 5 images. For 90 degree, it is 3 images. And for 120 degree, it is 2 images. That means what? If you will decrease the angle between these two plane mirrors, the number of images will increase. If you will increase an angle between the two mirrors, the number of images will decrease. So it is vice versa. Okay. I hope you understood what I said. Yes, students. Now next, about the next activity, that is, in order to see the full image of a person standing in front of a mirror, the minimum height of the mirror must be half the height of the person. Okay, so how the height of the mirror should be? For that, you will look at this diagram. You can also look in your textbook, page number 118, 118. So in the figure, what is given? The point at the top of the head, the eyes, and the point at the feet of a person is indicated by the letters H, E, and F. H for head, E for eyes, F for feet. Okay. R and S are what? Midpoint of HE and EF. You studied in mathematics. What is a midpoint? Right? So the point that should be marked, midpoint should be marked by the letter R and S, as shown in the diagram 11.4, page number 118. Okay. Now here, the mirror PQ is at the height of NQ from the ground and is perpendicular to it. Look at the diagram. Look at the mirror PQ. How is a mirror PQ? It is of the minimum height. PQ is at the height what? NQ. Okay, NQ, and from the ground. It is kept from the ground, above the ground, and how it is kept? Perpendicular to it. Right. So PQ is what? Minimum height of the mirror. Why minimum height is taken? To obtain the full image of the person. For this, RP and QS must be how much? It should be perpendicular to the mirror. So find out by studying this diagram, what is the minimum height of the mirror. So for that, you can do this way. PQ is equal to RS, but RS is equal to what? RE plus ES, right? So you can write here HE divided by 2 plus EF divided by 2. That will be HF divided by 2, half of the person's height. So in this way, you have proved that if in order to see full image of a person standing in front of a mirror, the minimum height of the mirror must be how much? Half of the person. Okay. So in this way, by drawing the diagram, we have proved it that a plane mirror and the full image of a person. Okay. Now in this, you all must be aware of this laughing chamber. Okay. Mostly if you will go for picnics and all, you might have seen such laughing chamber. Those who have visited Nehru Planetarium, Nehru Science Center and all, they have kept their laughing chamber. Yes. Or in a fair, if you're going for a fair, what you will find that if you look at this mirror, your face will appear distorted. Yes. Distorted means what? Anybody, can you tell me? What is mean by distorted, students? Yes, give the answers in public chat. What is mean by distorted? How your face will be appearing? Twisted, very good. Yes, big in size, not in a normal size. Very good, very good. Okay, that means what? You will look something, you will have a funny face. Yes, you will laugh at yourself looking at your face, right? So why this happens? Because that only you are going to learn what is the science behind this mirrors. Is there any magic taking place? Yes, students, why this happens? Why the mirror is called laughing mirror? Now let us see that laughing chamber. If you will go there, you will find that the face appears distorted. Okay, these mirrors are different from the mirrors we have at home. At home, we are having which mirror? Plain mirror. Okay, so but whereas these mirrors are little bit curved. The images formed by curved mirrors are different from those formed by plain mirrors. So what you can say about these mirrors, laughing mirrors, they are curved in shape. So because of this, what you cannot see the, you will be seeing some distorted faces. Okay, so the rear view mirrors in cars also, some which enable drivers to see what the vehicles coming from behind. They are curved mirrors, right? So that is about this. So obviously what will happen to the image formed in this laughing mirror? They are not due to plain mirrors. These mirror images are distorted and formed by mirrors with curved reflecting surfaces. Okay. All the curvature varies from point to point. Okay. Now let us see what is meant by spherical mirror. Spherical mirrors are of two types, right? So they are concave mirror and convex mirror. Okay, suppose if we cut a rubber ball into two parts as shown in the diagram, we can see that each of these parts, two parts has two types of surfaces. So spherical mirrors are parts of a hollow glass sphere like the part B. Okay, you can see in your in this diagram. Okay, part A is shown and part B is also shown. So spherical mirrors are how they are hollow glass sphere, how it looks like part B. Okay, so inner or outer surface of this part, how it is coated with a shiny substance. Okay, why it is coated with shiny substance? So to produce a spherical mirror, so that it will look like a spherical mirror. So reflection of light takes place either from its outer surface or from its inner surface. So in this way we are having concave and convex. If suppose inner surface of the spherical mirror is reflecting surface, then what we call it as concave mirror. If the outer surface of spherical mirror is reflecting, then what we call it as convex mirror. Now let us see some of the terms related to the spherical mirror. Okay, which are the terms which we are going to study now. Now page number 119. Okay, 11.7, the terms related to spherical mirrors. Now here you can see some alphabets are written like C, F, P, A. Okay, you can see radius of curvature, you can see pole of the mirror, center of curvature and principal focus. So these all terms you should define, you should be able to define the terms. Now let us start from pole. What is meant by pole? You can see the alphabet P there. Okay, now P is called as pole of the mirror. That means what? The center of the mirror surface. It is nothing but the center of the mirror. Okay, pole P is shown by the letter P, capital letter P. Now let us see what is center of curvature. Pole is different, center of curvature is different. Okay, it is shown by the letter C. The center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called the center of curvature of the mirror. So you can say that it is nothing but center of the sphere. Whereas pole is what? It is the center of the mirror surface. And the center of the sphere is called as center of curvature. Okay. And it is shown by the alphabet called C, capital letter C. Now let us see what is radius of curvature. Radius of the sphere of which the mirror is a part is called radius of curvature. So you can look at the diagram CP or CA. Okay, can you see CP and CA there? They are called as radius of curvature. Next is principal axis. Look at PM. Okay, PM is called as what? Principal axis. It is nothing but a straight line passing through the pole and the center of curvature of the mirror. So you can see a straight line passing through P and C. So that means it is passing through the pole and then meeting at point C, center of curvature. So that is called as principal axis. Next is what is meant by principal focus. Now incident rays which are parallel to the principal axis of a concave mirror, what they will do after reflection from the mirror meet at a particular point in front of the mirror, okay, on the principal axis. So this point F, it is denoted by the letter F. You can see the letter F. It is called as principal focus of the concave mirror. Suppose if you are taking convex mirror, incident rays will be parallel to principal axis after reflection and it will appear from a particular point behind the mirror, lying along the principal axis. So this point is called as principal focus of the convex mirror. So you will get principal focus for concave mirror as well as principal focus for convex mirror. Okay. Next is focal length. Focal length is denoted by small letter F. Okay, it is between pole and principal focus of the mirror. Okay, so here that is called as focal length. Okay, so this distance is always half of the radius of curvature. If your radius is 4 centimeter, focal length will be half of that. That means only 2 centimeter. So these are some of the terms related to spherical mirrors. So all the terms you should remember it. Okay, learn it as it is given in your book. Okay, and draw it and label it also. Terms related to spherical mirrors. Now next part is about images formed by the spherical mirrors, right? Now here you can see how do we determine the direction that an incident ray will take after reflection from a spherical mirror. Suppose if you are taking Mn as a spherical mirror, you can look at page number 120 of, okay, page number 120, 11.8, drawing the reflected rays. How to draw the reflected ray? So in the diagram, Mn is what? It is a spherical mirror taken. And you can see AQ. AQ is incident ray. CQ is what? Reflected ray. Okay. It is a radius and therefore it is perpendicular to the mirror at Q. So thus what you can say, a angle is formed there. AQC is angle formed in, and that angle is called angle of incidence. So according to law of reflection, you know, you studied laws of reflection. So incident, the angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. So both the measures will be same. If suppose angle of incidence is 45 degree, angle of reflection will also be 45 degree. So if you'll draw the reflected ray QB, angle CQB must be what? It should be equal to the angle AQC. So in this way, you can draw the reflected rays. So we can study images produced by spherical mirrors by drawing what? Ray diagram. What we can call this diagram as ray diagram. So ray diagram is a depiction of the path taken by light rays. What is mean by ray diagram? It is nothing but the diagram which shows a path of the light rays. Like in geography and all, you have studied the map which shows the direction where the places are situated, right? Similarly, ray diagram means what? It shows a path, okay, through which the light passes. So to draw a ray diagram, we should use certain rules. There are certain rules, okay, and that rules are based on laws of reflection of light. Okay, so now what are the rules there? Now look at the figure 11.9, which shows a rule number 1, 2, and 3 for drawing the ray diagram. First rule is that if an incident ray is parallel to the principal axis, then the reflected ray passes through the principal focus. You can see the rule number 1, how the incident ray is shown by the blue colored, whereas reflected ray is shown by pink colored ray. So how the reflected ray is passing from the point F. That is means what? It is passing from through the principal focus. Now look at rule number 2. If an incident ray passes through the principal focus of the mirror, the reflected ray is parallel to the principal axis. So reflected ray now in the second rule, what they said, if it is passing through the principal focus, what will happen? The reflected ray will be always parallel, okay, parallel to the principal axis. Now the third rule is that if an incident ray passes through the center of curvature, that is from through the point C, the reflected ray traces the same path back. You will never find the reflected ray. It is going in the same path backside. So these are the 3 rules for drawing the ray diagrams. Okay. Now look at this images, how the images are formed by a concave mirror. Now for this, what you need, a candle or a glass lamp. Okay. You can use a candle or a glass lamp. You can use 2 cardboard boxes, a large cardboard sheet, white paper, concave mirror, meter ruler, wooden block, etc. So these are the necessary things for this activity. Now you have to take the cardboard box, very large cardboard box. Okay, how much large it should be? So that it can hold a candle inside it or a lamp. You can see in the PPT, how a lamp or candle is kept inside the box. Cut off one side and place a candle inside. Okay, how you should keep the candle? By cutting on one side of the box, keep the candle inside. Cut out an arrow shaped slit from one side so that we get an arrow shaped light source. How it should be? Slit means what? A small opening, a line. Okay, small line, that much only. That should be, you have to cut arrow shaped line. You have to draw an arrow and cut it. Okay, and make a screen of size 20 centimeter into 30 centimeter card by sticking a white paper on the cardboard sheet. Take a cardboard sheet and stick a white paper. What should be the size of that white paper? 20 centimeter width and 30 centimeter height. Okay, so in that way the paper should be, and set it up vertically with the help of wooden block. Fix the mirror vertically on the other cardboard box by making a slit on its top surface. So in another cardboard box, you will make again a small slit and you will keep the mirror in that. Okay, you have taken the concave mirror, right? So concave mirror should be placed in front of it. Okay, so place a screen near a window and place a mirror in front of it such that the image of the sun or some faraway object forms clearly on the screen. So you should keep this, you should do this experiment in front of the mirror, window, sorry, in front of a window from where you can see some objects like tree or a building or sun, etc. Okay, so and you should take the image of that object. Either you can take the image of the sun or image of some faraway object from your house. Okay, maybe a building or maybe a bird, whatever is there, and measure the distance between the screen and the mirror in that situation. That's in this situation, whatever measurement you are getting between the screen and mirror, that will be your focal length. Okay, focal length of the mirror. Now you got the focal length of the mirror. Then again do the same experiment in a dark room. Okay, again place the mirror near the 0 mark on the meter scale. Okay, place the screen in front of it and place the light source in between the two so that the distance between mirror and the source is little more than the focal length. And then obtain a clear image of the source on the screen by moving screen along the meter scale and perpendicular to it. Now what you will find that the image you obtained is inverted and it is very large than the source. So as the image is obtained on the screen, what you can say? It is a real image. It is obtained on the screen. So it is a real image. Now move the source away from the mirror so that the distance between the two is greater than twice the focal length of the mirror. Get a clear image on the screen by moving it towards the mirror. The image is inverted, smaller than the object and real. So the second, in this way you should keep on changing the position, and what you will find the image is now how it is inverted. Okay, and it is smaller than the object and it is real image. So images obtained in a concave mirrors can be of two different types. If you look at page number 121, 11.11, they are shown the images obtained in concave mirrors. In the first diagram A, you will find the images inverted, right? A1, B1 is inverted. AB is the object, A1, B1 is the inverted image. Whereas in the second case, when you are moving the object, so what you will find, image is bigger than the object. A1 and B1, A is bigger than the object size. So this way you will get the two different images. Okay. So that is about this activity. Okay, now as shown in the figure 11.11, you can see once again that figure. An object AB is placed between the focus and the center of curvature of the concave mirror MN. The incident ray AQ starting from point A and going through the focus. Okay, through the focus, F becomes parallel to the principal axis after the reflection and returns along QR. The incident ray AS parallel to the axis after reflection passes through the focus and returns along the path ST. So it cuts the reflected ray QR at point A1. Thus, the image of A is what? A1, and the image of B is what? B1. Okay, so point B is situated on the principal axis, so its image will be on the axis and it will be directly above A1. Okay, that's why it is above A1. So thus the image of B is at what? B1, or you can call it as B dash. Okay, so images of points between A dash and B dash will be formed between A dash and B dash. So thus the image of the object AB is what? A dash B dash, or A1 B1. So from this we see that when the object is placed between focus and the center of the curvature of the mirror, image is formed beyond the center of curvature. So what you can say, they how the image is formed? It is formed beyond the center of curvature. This image is very large and it is inverted and it actually cross each other. Okay. As the reflected rays are crossing each other, what will happen to the image? The image is a real image and can be obtained on the screen. Whereas if you look at 11.11b, diagram number 2, okay, you can see an object AB is placed between pole and focus of the mirror. So here, incident ray is AQ, which is parallel to principal axis, and another incident ray AS is in the direction joining A with the center of curvature. Okay, so the figure is showing what, how these rays gets reflected and how the image A1 B1 is formed. Now this image will be behind the mirror, it will be erect, it will be very large, okay, as shown in the diagram. Okay, so as the reflected rays do not actually meet but appear to come together behind the mirror. How they appears? It appears that it is behind the mirror. That's why what we can say, the image is virtual image. So that is the difference between real image and virtual image. Virtual image is always, we feel it appears to come together behind the mirror. Okay. Whereas in real image, what happened? The reflected rays actually cross each other. And the image is a real image and can be obtained on the screen. You can see it on the screen. You have kept a screen, no? By making a chart paper. Okay. So what was the length of the chart paper you have taken? You made the screen by cutting the size of 20 centimeter into 30 centimeter. Okay, that is the screen. So you can see actually the image on the screen if you are getting the real image. But if you are not getting any image on that screen, that means how the image is, it is virtual image. That means what? It appears to come together behind the mirror. So the position and type of the image produced by a mirror, concave mirror, when an object is placed at different distances. Okay, you can see a table given in your page number 122. So if you're keeping the position of, if the position of the object is between the pole and the focus. Okay, so suppose if it is between the pole and the focus, what you can say, it is position of the image with what students put in the public chat. What is the position of the image? If you're keeping the object between pole and focus, position of the image will be behind the mirror. Very good, Balaji Gupta. It is behind the mirror. And what is the nature of the image, students? Give the answers using public chat. Nature of the image. Very good. Erect and virtual. Correct, Bhumi Tiwari. It is erect and virtual. And how the size of the image is? Size of the image is magnified. Very good, Morvika. Magnified means what? Very big image, large image, huge image. Okay. So this way, if we are changing the position of the object, the nature of the image, size of the image, as well as position of the image keeps on changing. Now let us see if we are keeping the object at focus, F. Okay, if you are keeping it focus, what will happen to the image? Image will be formed very far away. You cannot see the image. It is at infinity. Infinity means what? You will never find the image there. It is very far away. Okay, and what will be the nature? How it will be looking? Inverted and real, upside down. Okay, it will be inverted image. And how the size of the image will be? Size of the image will be very, very large. Okay. Next, if you're keeping the object between focus and center of curvature, okay, so that time what will be the position of the image? It will be beyond the center of curvature. Okay, it will be beyond the center of curvature, and the nature of the image will be inverted and real. Okay, and how the size of the image will be? It will be magnified. At the center of the curvature, if you're keeping the object, again the position of the image will be at the center of curvature itself. Nature will be inverted real, and the size of the object will be same as the object. Okay, so this table you should know, read it for your knowledge. Okay, beyond the center of curvature, if you are taking, okay, if you are keeping the object beyond the center of curvature, position of the image will be between center of curvature and focus. Again, nature of the image will be inverted and real, and the size of the image will be diminished. Now, what do you mean by diminished? Anyone? Diminished means what, students? No, Ketki, you had written wrong answer. It's not destroyed, reduced. Okay. Diminished means what? Small image. Okay, very light, dim image. Okay, very small and very means you cannot see clearly. Okay, then you can say it is a diminished image. Okay. Very good, Anushka. You cannot see properly the image. That's why we call it as what? Diminished image. Okay. So if you suppose you're keeping the object at very large distance, very far large distance, position of the image will be where? At focus. Yes. And again it will be inverted and real image. Nature of the image will be inverted and real. And the size of the image will be a point image. That means what? The image will look like a small point because you kept the object very far away. So no image, you cannot see the image. It will be like a dot. Very good, Manjima. It will be a point image, means like a dot. Okay. So this way, the images are formed by concave mirrors. Okay. So now let us see about convex mirror. How the image is formed by convex mirror. Now you have to look at the diagram shown over there, 11.12. Okay, page number 123. Now this diagram shows an object AB which is kept in front of a convex mirror MN. Incident rays are what? AQ. Starting from A and traveling parallel to the axis, and AR going towards the center of the curvature. Okay. So how this gets reflected and form the image A1, B1 can be understood from the diagram. It is clear that the image is smaller than the object. You can find that the image A1, B1 is smaller than the object AB. Okay. And how it is formed? It is formed behind the mirror, and it is erect, straight image as the object only. Okay. As the reflected rays do not actually cross one another, image is a virtual image. Okay. What you can say about the image? Nature of the image, it is virtual image. The nature of the image formed by convex mirror does not depend on the distance of the object from the mirror. These images are always virtual, smaller than the object, and situated behind the mirror. So the images are always behind the mirror, smaller than the object, and it is virtual. Okay. So that is about the convex mirror. So you have studied about what? The two main topics covered about how the images are formed by using two different types of mirrors, right? Now next we are going to learn about the convergence and divergence of light. For this you need 5 sticks of matchbox. Okay, matchsticks, you know. You have to arrange them as shown in the PPT. You can see the PPT, students. Yes. So how it is arranged? Okay. You have to say arrange them so that the heads come together at a point. In this arrangement, the heads of the matchsticks are said to have converged. Then you have to now arrange again the sticks so that the uncoated ends are together at a point. and the heads are spread apart. In this arrangement, the heads are diverging from the point. A concave mirror is also called as a focusing mirror. Okay, this is because as shown the diagram 11.14a. You can look at the diagram 11.14a, first diagram, page number 124. Parallel rays, they get focused after the reflection in this mirror. Okay, so the size of the image produced by these mirrors can be larger or smaller than the object, depending upon the distance of the object from the mirror. So a convex mirror is called as dispersing mirror, whereas concave mirror, I told you now, concave mirror is called as focusing mirror, whereas convex mirror is called as dispersing mirror. Why? Because as shown diagram 11.14b, second diagram below it, page number 124, you can say that parallel incident rays gets dispersed after reflection in this mirror. The size of the images produced by these mirrors is always smaller than the size of the object. Okay. So how you can say whether the mirror is concave or convex? Okay. So here the special mirror which is used for shaving, okay, that is a concave mirror. Understood? When held close to the face, it gives vertical and larger images of the face. So if the same mirror is taken farther away from the face, the image gets what? Smaller and smaller. So for shaving purpose, we have to use concave mirror. Whereas in cars and motorcycles, what we have to use? Convex mirror. Now in convex mirror, the image of the face is erect and smaller, and it remains erect but becomes smaller and smaller when the mirror is taken far away from the face. As a result, we can see the images of the surrounding also in the mirror. Thus, we can determine the nature of the mirror by studying the images produced by them. So in vehicle, if you're traveling in a car or motorcycle, you might have observed that in the mirror, you can see all the person who is driving behind you. Okay, image of that person. Also, you can see the buildings, trees, road, etc. Okay, so that is what convex mirror. Whereas for shaving purpose, we have to use what? Concave mirror. So when the light rays coming from an object enters our eyes, we can see the object because while passing through the lenses in our eyes, the rays converge. Okay, rays will converge. That means what? They will come together meet at one particular point, and the image of the object forms on what? On the retina of our eyes. And this image formed by the light rays actually converging at a point is a real image. Okay, so a real image, how it can be obtained on a screen. I told you, if the image you are seeing in a screen, it is a real image. Whereas if the image you cannot see anything on the screen, means it is virtual image. So image produced by plane mirror is a virtual image. This image is produced by a point from which the reflected light rays appear to diverge. So this image cannot be obtained on a screen, as the rays do not actually meet there. So when light rays collect at a point after reflection from a spherical mirror, they are said to converge there. So when we want to bring light rays together at a point on a converging on a converging light beam is used. Doctors, you have seen doctors, they use a beam to converge light on a tooth, ears, nose, etc. So equipment using solar energy are also used converging light. So when light rays starting from a point spread out after reflection, okay, we can say it is a diverged ray. When we want light rays to spread out from a source, a divergent beam is used. For example, street lamp. At night, street lamps, you might have observed that there we are using, you are getting divergent beam because light spreads in all the direction. The whole road get lighted if one lamp is lighted, right? Okay, so that is about the mirrors used for different purposes, uses of concave and convex mirrors. Now let us see the mirror formula. There is a formula for mirror, that is 1 upon V plus 1 upon U equal to 1 upon F. Okay, so we get the correct value by using Cartesian sign convention. There's a Cartesian sign convention given. That means what? If the object is kept on the left left of the mirror, all the distances will be parallel to the principal axis, are measured from the pole of the mirror. All the distances which are measured towards the right of the pole are taken to be positive, left to be taken to as what? Negative distance. Okay. Distances measured vertically upwards should be taken positive, downward should be taken negative, and the focal length of the concave mirror should be always taken negative, while convex mirror it should be taken positive. Okay, so that is called Cartesian sign convention. These are certain rules which we should follow. Now the object distance is small letter u, image distance is what? Small letter v. So there is the formula 1 upon v plus 1 upon u equal to 1 upon f. And what it gives a relationship between the object distance, image distance, and the focal length. And that's why it is called as mirror formula. Okay. So what you can say, it is a mirror formula. What is a mirror formula, students? 1 upon v plus 1 upon u equal to 1 upon f. So why this formula is needed? To find the focal length. So this formula is valid for all the spherical mirrors, for all position of the objects under all circumstances. If you want to find the focal length or the image distance or the object distance, that time you can use this formula. Next is magnification due to spherical mirrors. The magnification due to spherical mirror is given by the ratio of the height of the image h2 to the height of the object h1. Okay, so if you will divide height of the image to height of the object, that is m equal to h2 divided by h1, what you are getting, that capital letter M means what? Magnification. As the object is always kept above the principal axis, its height is always taken to be positive. I told you in Cartesian sign convention, the height should be positive if it is above the principal axis. For virtual image, the height is positive, while for real image, the height should be taken negative. So as the object is kept on the left side of the mirror, its distance u will be negative. Okay. So this is how magnification is found out. What is magnification? It is nothing but, if anybody will ask, what is mean by magnification of spherical mirror? It is nothing but the ratio of the height of the image to the height of the object. That means what? h2 divided by h1. Okay. So there is a small sum also given. Okay, I will read out for you, page number 126, where the question is, Rajeshri wants to get an inverted image of height 5 centimeter of an object kept at a distance of 30 centimeter from a concave mirror. The focal length of the mirror is 10 centimeter. At what distance from the mirror should she place the screen? Okay. What will be the type of the image and what is the height of the image? Suppose this question is given. What you have to do? You have to use the mirror formula. Just now you learned the mirror formula. 1 upon v plus 1 upon u equal to 1 upon f. But note that we are using which mirror, students? Concave mirror. So f should be taken negative. So minus 10 you will write there. So 1 upon v equal to 1 upon minus 10 minus 1 upon minus 30. In question they are given 30 centimeter, but you have taken concave mirror. So you are using minus sign. So when you will solve it, what you will get? V is how much? Minus 15. Okay. So we cross multiply and get the answer. You will get minus 15. And what is magnification? Again, write the formula m equal to h2 divided by h1. Okay. Which is also equal to minus v upon u. Minus sign again because of concave mirror. When you will solve it, you will get the value of h1 as 10 centimeter. So that means what? Height of the object is 10 centimeter. So thus the image will be real and diminished. Okay, in this way, we can say that the screen, what is where we have to keep, what is the exact position? 15 centimeter to the left of the mirror. Okay, what will be the type of the image and what is the height of the object? That was the question. So height of the object is 10 centimeter and the type will be how of the image will be what? Real and diminished. Okay, so that is the end of this chapter, students. So today we have completed lesson number 11, reflection of light, where you learned what is mean by reflection of light, what is a mirror, what are the two types of mirror. Okay, plane mirror, what is a plane mirror, what are the uses of plane mirror. Okay, what is a spherical mirror, what are the different terms related to spherical mirror. In spherical mirror, you have learned about concave and convex mirror. different terms you studied today: pole, center of curvature, radius of curvature, principal axis, principal focus, and focal length. Then we went with drawing the reflected rays, how to draw the reflected rays, what are the rules, okay, and how the image is formed by a concave mirror, how the image is formed by a convex mirror, what is meant by divergence and convergence of light, and finally we went with the uses of concave and convex mirror, right? And then we studied what is mirror formula, and finally we completed with magnification due to spherical mirrors. Okay, fine. So time is up, students. So here we are going